it activates the other particle accelerator, sending the fluxite particle over, which should collide. And now I can go ahead and stick these two in together. Oh, wow, that was just instant. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to some more FTB Skies 2. Today, we are going to be making the final steps we need, the final preparations before we can get our replicator. I have had to take a while to kind of prepare for this because there is a lot of automations that I had to get in before we proceeded with today's video. And there would have been a lot more if I had to do the reactor. But fortunately, I don't have to do the reactor. As if we go ahead and look through this quest line, you can see uranium fuel rod is already unlocked even though the reactor is locked. That is because the reactor is an optional quest. But we need the reactor to be able to deplete these uranium fuel rods so that way we can get our next thing called plutonium. But fortunately, through the particle accelerator from oritech, we can actually get plutonium without the need for this. Now, the particle accelerator is a bit of a big process. So, I set it up off screen in a creative world and attached it to a copy-paste gadget, which with all of my items now being in here, I can go ahead, paste it all in, and the repeaters are all in place. Okay, that's good. And there it goes. It's all perfectly in place. That is good. I need to set my flux points to power. Why this thing is so odd, let's say. This is the particle accelerator. This is the main thing. How this thing works, though, is it puts an item in, and then it sends it to a bit of a particle thing. And it requires power that also increases the speed, and if done improperly, it can, like, shoot it out into the world and destroy a lot of things, and even potentially kill me. So, I had to kind of look up a little bit of a guide to this, and as it turns out, FTB Skies 2 messed with a few things. So a few things had to be tweaked from wherever the initial guide came from. So yeah, if any of you needed to look up a guide, it's not gonna work here. I could spend more time trying to explain how it works, but I think it's better if I just show you. So what we're gonna want to do, over here at this end, where the other particle accelerator is, because you do need two of them for one to work, we're gonna put this fluxite in a dropper. This will not work until this redstone signal is ticked. And how it's going to tick is very simple. We have this thing right here called a particle accelerator sensor. What's going to happen is I'm going to put this in here and we're going to see it start to accelerate. And then once it gets around over there, it's going to lag my world a bit, but it's going to start ticking redstone. At a required speed, it will then hit the redstone, which will hit it over to here, sending it over there. Once this next redstone gets into its right signal, it activates the other particle accelerator, sending the fluxite particle over, which should collide. And then if we head on back over to here, we reach the proper... Ooh. Okay, wait. Something's gone wrong. Because we reached the required power, we needed 250... but the item didn't output. Is it over here? Okay, it's over here. Oh, interesting. I thought it was supposed to be over here, but I guess now it ends up over here instead. Okay, but here we go. Now we've gotten ourselves our plutonium. I just need to get a uranium fuel rod for me to be able to get this as a quest reward. I'm not really gonna need them, and I'm not happy about it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's not too... Okay, maybe it's a little expensive. Well, I guess while we wait for that, I might as well go over a few changes and just useful things that I did in between episodes, because there is one thing I wanted to really bring attention to, which is my electric blast furnace setup. Now, for those of you who have been paying attention to recent things, some of the recipes I was gonna need was going to start mixing fluids and items in one recipe. It ended up happening even more often, and as it turns out, the backpack with a pump upgrade and a tank upgrade and also the mechanism, like quantum thing that would allow me to store multiple items and fluids in it. A lot of people have used that for this. Didn't actually work. So what I did was I just grabbed another storage controller, added this to its own network, and then configured a blank fluid and spruce drawer with 4 different things in there, and it's been working. And I also set up the oil drill in between episodes because I did say I was going to do that, and yeah, that's something else. I did all of this. I set up the chemical automations from the thing with this thing in the last video, and I managed to get myself to the next big chip and also get ourselves along here. We got ourselves to this drill, which ended up actually being incredibly useless. And also we can get iridium, which I found out I can get it from a laser drill in the end. So I set that up, and that's going to be important for later. Turns out there was not as much useful things I did in between episodes as I thought I did. Oh, but there we go. Literally about a second afterwards, our uranium fuel rod finished up, which does give us some coins, and also the plutonium quest line. Now that we have that with the plutonium, that opens the door for the quantum circuit, the final circuit in this mod. But before we can get to that, we're gonna need some things. Now, we already got the processing unit. That was basically the next circuit after the digital one. But we're also going to need this thing here called a qubit. Now, this is made from cryofuel, which is just a mix of argon and helium. I've already gotten argon set up, which is another thing of chemical automation, which I get from my vacuum freezer by adding another item input and putting an air intake, which just makes liquid air that I then get over here into a centrifuge, which just makes the argon. It makes some oxygen, which I'm voiding out, and some nitrogen. So then we're just gonna need to mix that with some helium to then be able to get ourselves some cryofuel. In all likelihood, I might need to make another vacuum freezer dedicated for this, because I'm not sure I'll have enough fluid inputs in order to pull this off. I'm gonna try to do it in this one, so that way I can have it set to specifically recipes. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm not surprised if it won't work. So that'd be that one easy. And then tritium, I just need to get a centrifuge with some hydrogen to then start making deuterium and tritium. That is gonna take a long time though. I'm probably not getting this circuit in this video. I'm just setting up things for it. And then we're gonna need a quantum circuit, which is helium-3, which is okay. It's a lot of stuff that we've already done, including a next battery, which is going to take even more stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna need a lot of cryofuel, a lot of things that I've already made. It's just going to be a lot of crafts. However, if we are going to indeed start with this, we should also probably get other things set up as well, since a lot of that is just going to be processes that I'll have to do off screen. The best next thing we can do is set up for nukes. Now, for us to get nukes, we already got the first thing, which is plutonium. This is also going to take our tritium and deuterium, and it's also going to take an industrial TNT, which I've already set up to crafts, and smelted variants of our plutonium. It is also going to take something called nuclear alloy, which we get from a mixed nuclear alloy, which is just a mix of all sorts of these things, which I have already started getting some of them. I already got cadmium. I don't know how to get this thing though. It's beryllium and stainless steel. I don't know how I'm going to get that. It's not exactly showing me. Okay, emerald dust in the electrolyzer. That's probably the only way I can get it. Alrighty, I can take care of that. But the biggest thing is that this is going to take a new big machine called the implosion chamber. And I've already gotten all the pieces for it. It was a pain. We can go ahead and set this baby up. Right here should work. I believe that the implosion chamber piece goes on the ground. Yeah, it does. So now we just need to put the pieces into place. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the energy on the back, because, you know, like always. We can then put our item input over here, and then our item output here. That way we can just sort of get all these connections to kind of work with each other, you know, because it's just easier that way. After that, we just need to start filling in the space with this. And kind of like our blast furnace, we just need to go ahead and put this blast proof casing like this, hollow inside. I said hollow inside. Why you no listen to me, game? Why does the game do this to me? I was so worried for a second I wasn't going to have enough. But there we go, we got that. And then we just need to top the top off. There we go. Now we've gotten ourselves our implosion chamber. So what this baby is going to allow us to do is, well, basically what it sounds like. It's going to implode things. And it's actually a machine that we're going to need for one of the ingredients for the FTB pyramid. Actually fairly high on the FTB pyramid. And it's actually going to use some of the things from modern industrialization. But yeah, this will help us to get several things. It'll help us make certain things easier. One of which will be getting an iridium plate, which is necessary for the ultra-dense metal ball, which is going to help us get our singularities. I think I could do that. No, I couldn't, because I'd need the deuterium and tritium. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a crafter and set this thing up with a few patterns, and we're going to see this thing in action.
Later.
Alrighty, so while I was away, I managed to get myself all the patterns I should need in this thing. So it should be good. And I also managed to get the centrifuge going to get ourselves our deuterium and tritium. And that thing's been going for a little while, and we already managed to get ourselves 2 buckets of the deuterium, and not really a bucket of the tritium. So that's gonna be little ways away, but once I do get it, I'll get another 8 buckets instantly. And I've also discovered I can put in some upgrades into this thing to speed it up. I can only use advanced ones from now on because those are the ones I put in, but hey, you know what, that should work. And I'm definitely gonna need another vacuum freezer if I want to use this for cryo fuel, because it takes some argon from this, and then it interrupts that process and starts making more liquid air. I'm just gonna need another one. But for right now, though, we can go ahead and demonstrate the pure power of our implosion chamber. Now, what I have here is mixed blast-proof ingots. This is something I'd set up in between episodes in a steel packer right here, which its basic design is to get us these blast-proof ingots, which were something that actually helped us make this. But what I was only able to do up until now was I would need to make 2 of these, and then I could only get 1 blast-proof alloy. But now with this baby right here, I can go ahead and throw these in together.
A few moments later.
I have learned I never hooked this thing up to power. This is fine. I can go ahead and turn this baby to power. That's then going to put all of that into there. And now I can go ahead and stick these 2 in together. Oh, wow, that was just instant. Now we get ourselves 3 of our blast-proof alloys from just 1 of those. Now we have awakened to the power of our implosion chamber, which should help us out with a lot of things from here on. Now then, the question is, do I want to at least make a nuke and try to get to the quantum circuit? Because I could theoretically get the quantum circuit. I already have enough cryo fuel for it, so I wouldn't need to make any more. I would just need to set up a thing for the superconductor and the carbon, you know, so that way at least we can get to a sort of path for this. Because, I mean, I have to keep this one a little bit short. There is just a lot of processes that I'm going to get to, and this one is a lot of the same. And it's also fairly late, and I don't want to end up having to do another middle of the nighter. So I think what I'm going to do is I won't make the nukes yet. I think I'll leave those for the automations that I will do off screen. And I will get everything I need for the quantum circuit, which might take me until midnight. It's fine. And then next video, after we close this one off, we should hopefully get ourselves the replicator.
12 o'clock midnight.
Alrighty. So it's midnight. Again. But we managed to get the quantum circuit, so it's not a total loss. And luckily for me, this quest, as well as the following quests that I will need to do for this, minus this one, will give me quantum circuits. So there is a chance that I will be able to gain enough for everything I need, and I won't need to make these again. God willing, please give me the max. Okay, that was a 2 to 4, so that one did give me it. So we've gotten 5 so far. 1 is going to be used up here, and then those 2 will give me 6. And then the singularities don't need it. I need 8 for this. So that means... Oh, but the UU matter can get me it. And at a minimum, I get 4. Yes! I will never, ever need to make another one of these not these singularities, these quantum circuits again. So all that's left for me to do tonight is open up today's chance cube. Yes, it is that part of the show where I open a chance cube, risking my entire series for all your entertainment, as well as the Jebs. Will they die this time? I'm sorry, did I just get a trampoline? I got a trampoline. Wait, hang on a minute. Is there like a redstone system going on down there? Yeah, there's just a redstone system down here. Wait, this is kind of sick. Okay. Oh, wow, there was a lot of stuff down here. So did you like this video? Good. But be sure to check out our last FTB Skies 2 video where I made the distillation tower and the vacuum freezer. Bye-bye!